It's times like this I wish I had a soundboard because I would sound the alarm, red alert, all hands on deck. It is an emergency Brav Bros podcast because some serious shit just popped off and we need to discuss.
Yeah, these assholes couldn't do it on a different week. We have to have 7 fucking Bravo shows going on at one time. It's like, nah, we're gonna do this now. We're gonna release our joint statement that says nothing.
Amanda and West, Scandival 2.0. Let's dive in.
As there's a drive in a deep left field by Castellanos, it will be
Oh
a
man,
home
it's
run.
8 o'clock.
And so that'll make it a.
I don't need the spotlight. I shine just fine.
Hi, I'm Karma, and yes, I am a bitch.
Brav Bros.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Brav Bros, your favorite podcast from the Bros for whoever wants to listen. I am your co-host, Steele Russell, joined as always by the one and only Shootlock Holmes. What's up, dude?
Okay.
I'll
Yeah,
take it.
I mean, I would feel more like Shootlock Holmes if we were doing this before confirmation. If we were just like, yeah, let's just throw a podcast together. We'll just talk about all the evidence and see what happens. It's all confirmed now.
Do you know how famous we would be if we had done that? If we had just took a Hail Mary shot and been like, here's our ideas, like a month ago?
A month ago would have been a good time, I think. But this past week has been just a shitstorm of evidence and people firing things out. And then there's reasonable doubt to come into play. And then it's like, is Dumois a reliable source anymore? Because Dumois has kind of turned into that AI Facebook poster where it's like, yeah, Shep impregnated a gator down in Florida and he's not paying child support. And then you got all the idiots just commenting like, wow, I knew he was a bad guy. Like, that's kind of where it was leading.
Gator?
But I'm just making. Have you seen the Facebook AI posts that people fall for? It's incredible. It's unbelievable stuff up there.
I'm assuming it's like The Onion.
It's not. It's people. Thank God, we're just taking away from all of this, but I'll explain it. It was. It's people that use Facebook posts and they just have AI write unbelievable stories like Sally's pregnant. Whose baby is it? And it's Sally's not pregnant, obviously. And then there's thousands of comments with idiots online that are like, "Oh my God, I knew that she would do that." Like, oh Jesus Christ. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, this last week has been just an avalanche of evidence. It's been so many different things pointing. And then you have a lot of people. It kind of reminded me of the secret episode from Stranger Things. Sorry, Steele, where people were looking at all this different evidence. Like, is it going to go here? No, actually, it's an April Fool's joke. Actually, it's a Buffalo Wild Wings campaign. No, it's not. It's exactly what we thought it was. And just goes to prove you once again that when there's smoke, there is fire, especially in the Bravo universe.
Yeah, I do have to point out two things. One, I almost burned this hat to make a funny reel years ago, but something told me I would need it again. And what better time to break out my lightning bolt Tom hat than for this event? Because, I mean, obviously some of the parameters are different, and we'll discuss
I was going to
all of
step
that.
on those a little bit because I'm not calling it Scandival 2.0.
I am.
I think it's scale. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just as bad. Yes. But all the parameters are very different. I don't even want to talk. It's a whole new thing. It is a whole, and the Bravo universe has been hungry for something that rivals Scandival. Here you have it. This is exactly what it is. I want to find a new name for it though, because
we definitely need a new name, but the placeholder is definitely Scandival. Yeah, no, that's
which we already used for Amanda Francis.
Too boring. Like we'll come up. That's going to be part of this show is try to figure out a name. And I agree, it needs its own thing. But for the time being, everyone understands what I'm saying when you say Scandival 2.0. And my other thing I need to point out, and I got to give her credit. Dev called this a long time ago. Before there was chatter about this, Dev was on it. I think it was either last year or episode 1 of this season. She saw a weird interaction. She said to me, Amanda and West are hooking up. And I was like, you're nuts. No way. That's ridiculous. This is going to be West's redemption season. He would never. And she would absolutely never to Sierra. That would be insane. Amanda doesn't have that in her. That leads me to my first question. Okay. And I went live with our Instagram followers before this, and they had all the questions in the world as well. But my question to you, have we been so blinded by Kyle it's so easy to pinpoint things where it's like the drinking, going out, the DJing, all of the shenanigans that he does. Have we been so blinded by that there actually have been things that Amanda's been doing? Maybe not in sense with the West stuff, but just overall where this shouldn't be as shocking as it is, but we just didn't look deep enough.
I mean, yeah, definitely. I don't. This season's going to get it's going to go haywire, of course. And this is one of my least favorite things about scandals like this. And, we even talked about it a little bit with Amanda and Kyle breaking up before the season. Oh, God, this whole thing's a wash. That it's going to turn into a free for all where people are trying to just key in on certain things that happened. Yeah. Bravo editors are, of course, in the lab, I'm sure, looking through all their footage, trying to find anything that points to West and Amanda potentially hooking up before Kyle and Amanda broke up, which I'm sure will be a whole segment of this episode. But it's one of my least favorite things because it just scraps the whole season. Like every other storyline that we have going on, see you later. In the city, probably see you later, to be honest. It's just kind of, it's a big shadowy cloud that's just going to hang with us until we get to filming, which is another segment that we're going to have to talk about. Where's the show go from here? Because I think the whole show just crumbles because all of the good hope, all of the good karma that we've been building up, this great cast that seems really very intertwined, apparently, where it gets to a point, it's just like, how do we even move forward? Can Sierra move forward? Like all of those things are going to have to be discussed. I think you go back even deeper. I think you go back to, and a lot of people are circulating that the footage of, I forget if it was like season 6 with Jules, where Jules basically calls out Amanda for not having any trust. It's like, how can I trust you? Well, how can I trust you? You let Kyle still in your relationship and he's been cheating on you. So you're not very trustworthy. You can look back in the vault, if you will, of Summer House and look at all the different reasonings that you can come up with Amanda and say, yeah, you're not really a girl's girl. Yeah, you're always going to sympathize with the male. Yeah, you're going to do this. Yeah, you're going to do that. Those things, sure, go for it if you have the time. Go back and do all those things. Yes, we're going to see things. We're going to see things like that'll just smack us over the head, much like we did. And again, I'm not calling it Scandal, but going back and looking at that season of VPR, it's like, yeah, of course it was there the entire time. We just weren't looking for it.
Yeah, and obviously that's always going to be a counterpart or a part of this, not a counterpart. Side note, Banana, that thing I just sent you actually is helpful. It's just a little tab of what the receipt is, where it came from, and when. So it's like page 6 said on March this. So if you need to pull directly, and it's in chronological order, so that's probably the easiest thing to use out of everything. But anyway. That does become the issue, right? We have to sift through a lot of bullshit. It's like when the police put a tip line out and they're like, call in if you see this person. They get like 1 billion hits because people want to join the fun. So yes, we're going to look probably too deeply into some one-off moments where it's like, ooh, what did you mean by that? There are things that we're pulling up from the past where it is starting to paint a different picture. Most notably for me, and I forget whose page it was on, and I'm very sorry, I'm not giving you credit.
So much content today.
I know it's hard to keep track, but it was, do you remember? I think it was 2 years ago, 2 or 3 seasons ago. They were playing a drinking game. Danielle was still on the show. And the question was, who do you trust the least?
Yeah.
And she thought about it for a while. And she's like, oh, because she's a curveball, you never know what you're going to get. Amanda. And I specifically, distinctly remember sitting here with you and saying, that's a ridiculous thing to say. Like, why would she even say that? But you start to put that shit together. That's the stuff I'm paying attention to. What other people have said about her on the show. Jules, Danielle. I forgot.
Hannah,
obviously. Hannah must feel like she's on top of the world right now. But in that scene where Danielle says, I don't trust Amanda, least trustworthy on the cast, Lindsay co-signed. And it's such a quick, like, boop. It's a quick camera shift. And she just says, I agree really fast. And then it moves on. Yeah. I didn't see that part. Lindsay co-signs it. So everyone on the cast seemingly has known this about Amanda, but there's a third part to that scene. Kyle is hammered, but he's also like, wait, can we dig more into that, please? And that perked his ear up. And it could have been that he was drunk and they're talking shit about his wife. And he's like, wait, what do you mean by that? But to me, hindsight, obviously, it seemed like he was like, wait, what do you mean? Has he heard things before? Has he had suspicions before? Is this like, this is what happens when this shit happens. It's like you go back, it's like, oh my God, what did they know? What didn't they know? But that scene to me really sticks out because that was 2023. the summer of 2020, or no, I guess it was the summer of 2022, aired in 2023, whatever.
Yep.
That was a long time ago. And even back then, Amanda labeled least trustworthy in the group with a Lindsay cosign. The Lindsay cosign is where I was really like, oh shit, that seems like it's important.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I do think when you go back and look at all of that, there have been a lot of different things that have been said about Amanda not being a girl's girl, not being trustworthy, but it doesn't mean that it goes to this level. That's the big problem here.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, look, if she's floating around and she's single now and she's hooking up with Luke or she's, that's the other part to me. It's just fucking bewildering. You live in New York. You were getting what would probably be close to what Ariana got after Scandival. You were going to get that kind of glow up. I mean, you're hot. You've got a lot of things going for you. Everybody's looking at Kyle like, fuck that guy. And again, none of this excuses any of Kyle's behaviors. He's going to get off so easy because the reunion's just going to be peppering West and Amanda the whole time. So whatever, leave Kyle out of this whole thing. Amanda was destined for, whether she deserved it or not, some sort of meteoric spike where she was just going to rise to a superstardom. Everybody was going to look at her. She's going to get all these brand deals. Everything goes kaput. I mean, even today, a brand posted, and it was some sort of clothing brand, and it had Amanda as the face of the brand. And they said, which is incredibly funny in the caption, like, it's just like any other day or something along those lines. And then 10 minutes later, immediately removed the post, reposted, and cut Amanda's face out. So still used her body, but removed Amanda's face, which is just very funny. And of course, the way things work, the internet stays forever. So you'll never really get away from that. It's all about how you bounce back. So to think that she had all of this in the bag, ready to go. You live in New York. You could go date like a fucking football star, a basketball star, a model, whoever the hell you wanted. And instead you settle for somebody in the inner circle. Not only do you settle for, and West is West, you settle for West out of all of those things. And not only that, it's your best friend, your supposed best friend's ex, who she has all these feelings for. And that's another thing that I'm going to get into is going into all of this with all the evidence. It's piling up. You know that it's going to happen. You know that all this is going to break. You start thinking about, okay, like at the very least, it's just fucking lame as hell. At most, you burned your best friend. And this is really fucking shitty and you deserve all this smoke. You have to think like, all right, maybe we didn't see some things. Maybe at the end of the season, Sierra and West sit down and they just decide to be friends. And this isn't really that bad. But again, it's just incredibly lame. No, all of that goes out the window. You did actually burn your best friend to do this, to settle with West in the biggest fucking city in the country where you could have probably had any man that you wanted. You went to West and did all of these things. So you get absolutely no sympathy from anybody. You get skewered. West is going to get a little less skewered, but Amanda should probably get the most skewered in this whole situation.
I agree. I mean, West, very close second. Like, I don't think that he's going to, just because, it paints the whole season differently. You go back to that scene of them arguing and him in the bathroom, and it's like, that's knowing what we know now, like how wildly inappropriate that.
Dude, not only that, but Mia, KJ, and Sierra all having a very open heart conversation about what it's like being Black on reality TV, what it's like being a minority on reality TV, and all the things that you have to do. You didn't think about any of that? Are you fucking kidding me?
Well, even more specifically in that conversation, such a big part of the fallout that Sierra received was DMs about getting quote unquote punked by a white boy.
Yep.
Like that's such a major part. And it's interesting because I posted a reel about this and multiple of our followers pointed out that part of this entire thing, which is 100% valid. And there's other people in there obviously being idiots where it's like, oh, that had nothing to do with it. That absolutely has everything to do with it because I mean, it would have regardless. But the fact that that conversation occurred on this show recently means that this has everything to do with it, because now Sierra is going to potentially get DMs about getting punked by both West and Amanda, two white people. Like, that was the root of why she was so upset, is because of the fallout that she got from the Black community. So for you to say that that's not part of this is ridiculous. It absolutely is. And that is such a different layer of West and Amanda, like, just not caring, right? Like, that's where I don't have any sympathy. I don't have any sympathy regardless, but you start to put the pieces together and the layers to this thing. It's like, wow, at the very least, Amanda, you were besties with Sierra. West, you were really close with Sierra, and you guys knew this. Mia and KJ and Sierra did a great job of explaining it. Very straightforward. You knew this, and you still were too selfish to check your own inhibitions. Like, absolutely not. And that's one of 50 things that you refuse to acknowledge in the pursuit of this quote unquote relationship. Not to mention, as you said, Amanda, you threw this all away for West. My big thing with that, you tapped out on Kyle because he partied too much, drank too much, party boy lifestyle. You didn't like that. That's hard to believe now because you just married a young, or sorry, not married, Jesus. You just got with and are dating.
They better get married.
I know, seriously, but it's a younger version of Kyle that cannot commit. That's how this is going to go. I think Amanda's going to be all in, genuinely. West is going to burn her after I don't know how long, but that's how this ends. They do need to get married.
This whole thing should just end, and that was one thing that they touched on in their little their joint post, which is very funny that Amanda had a joint post with Kyle about ending their marriage. Now you're in another joint post 6 months later with West about ruining your friendship with Sierra, about clowning her, about just clowning her in the public eye and doing all of this bullshit under her nose. And that's the other part of it too. Like, we didn't know leading up to it when all the evidence is piling up. Like, does Sierra know? Is it already kind of there? No, like everything kind of points to over the last 10 days that Sierra realized what was going on. And that's why the Amazon Live fell apart. That's why she wasn't liking any of the pictures. And now today she unfollowed both of them. So this is all news to her too. So she's finding out with the rest of us, which is even more fucked up. And then how far back does it actually go? Now we're getting news from fucking Dave Portnoy that him and Brianna Chicken Fry sat down at the Super Bowl and she said, yeah, West and Sierra are hooking up. West was posting pictures with Sierra at the Super Bowl. She didn't know about any of that. So then how far back does this actually go? Then we get the smoke screen where it's like, no, actually, Amanda's just hanging out with West a lot. She's hanging out with his friends. She might be hooking up with Aiden Blake, which is one of his close friends. There's pictures of the two of them holding hands. That's not that big of a deal. That actually makes a lot of sense. They're a little bit closer in age. Okay, cool. That's a smoke screen. The smoke screen actually worked for a little while. Like, all right, yeah, we're not thinking about West because we couldn't fathom that they would do this to Sierra. We couldn't fathom that they would play like that. And lo and behold, they were. And how long have they been doing it for? Probably since before the Super Bowl, which is insane. They may have been doing this since the winter. They may have been doing this since the summer. Like, we don't know how far back this goes, but it opens all those doors. Was she actually stepping out? And obviously, their marriage was their marriage. They're still married. Was she stepping out on Kyle to be with West? Was there more there? Again, not exonerating Kyle at all, but he said in the middle of that big fight and in the bathroom, she's been spending a lot more time with you than she has been with me. That's a polarizing statement now. All of a sudden, everything that's been said this whole summer going back to when they're still married and they're not separated yet is fucking insane. Like, is there more here? Is there a lot more there? We don't know. We may never find out, but people will put their detective hats on and try to figure the whole thing out. It's just, it's bananas. And actually, after that quick break, because Steele's daughter actually just heard the news. So now we've got babies crying about all of this shit going on. I actually did more digging and I'm going to retract my statement. Sierra actually blocked both of them. So that is very different than just unfollowing, the simple unfollow. Hey, the whole thing's just a clusterfuck. I mean, is Montauk going to be able to survive? I don't know. Yeah, that's the big question.
I don't know, but I mean, I'd say is Montauk?
Yeah, Montauk. Yeah,
nice. Well done. I like that. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Thought that one earlier.
Yeah, Sierra. There's rumors out there that like somebody had let her know that they were going to hard launch today, that there was like inklings here or there. I don't think that's true. I mean, we all saw that picture of her sitting outside of what looked like a photo shoot or something like that. You know that this crushed her. And if you really think about it, think about how many times she sat in that bed with Amanda, how many times that we don't see during the off season where I'm sure they discussed West. Like, that's where I keep going back to. Amanda was Sierra's soundboard when she was going through all the West stuff. I can't imagine knowing all of that. And like, that's how they're going to spin this. And I already know how it's going to come out. We didn't expect this to happen. Like, West is just always there for me. And like one night, like, it just became something more. No, you are grown-ups. You're adults. Like, this is called self-control. You don't burn your friend like that. I don't care if you're on reality TV, Amanda. That is some slimy, slimy shit because you know damn well that Sierra told her all the things. And you know damn well that Sierra's in love with that man. We said that all season. We said that last year. Like, that's what it's giving. Love. And I know Amanda knows that. So there's no way that you can spin this. There's no rom-com weird spin zone that you're going to give me where I'm like, oh, you know what? At the end of the day, no, nothing about this is cool. Nothing about this is okay. That's
Yeah.
why, like, people are saying, well, it's not Scandival. It's on the same level. It's different. I agree wholeheartedly. I know it's different parameters, different this, different that. The fallout and the types of people involved, like, that's where this becomes similar because of the gravity of the situation.
Yeah, and the other big part of this is there's reports out there that nobody on the cast knew. So nobody who was with the cast, nobody who's been friends with them, they've been doing a lot of promos recently. They've been hanging out a lot recently. They didn't know. And there's TMZ out there reporting that Kyle Cook apparently asked West and Amanda a bunch of different times, are the rumors true? Are the rumors true? They denied. West went on Watch What Happens Live last week. Very clunky response, but he denied. Amanda went on a podcast a couple of weeks ago, denied, said that she would never touch anybody on the show. She even went on a different podcast.
That was February 2026. By the way, that was Watch What Happens Live. February 2026. She went on Watch What Happens Live on the 3rd. And she said
it twice because she was also on a different podcast. She's been on like so many different things. She was on another podcast saying that she's manifesting just a younger man who's going to make all of her dreams come true and just somebody that she can hang out with for a little while. I guess that's West. There's so many things that have happened. There's so many things that they have said outwardly denying the whole situation. And maybe they thought, and look, this kind of goes to show you with their stupid ass press release. They thought that maybe it was just a quick fling, like a couple of weeks. Nobody's going to know anybody. Nobody's going to be akin to knowing exactly what we're doing. We can go ahead and hide all of this, and then we can just bury it, and no one ever has to talk about it. And then it just blossomed into this beautiful thing. You wouldn't have to do a joint statement right now saying it's just something. It's still very fresh. When there's reports about you guys doing this 3 months ago, it's not very fresh anymore. You guys have been doing this for a while. You guys have been hiding this for a while. There should be some sort of, I don't know, emotion of like, all right, well, it's all out there. What are we going to do now? And instead it's like, well, it's very fresh. Give us some boundaries, guys. No one's going to give you boundaries. No one's giving Sierra boundaries, which is fucked up in a completely different way, of course. But the whole thing is just an absolute unbelievable mess that it won't get cleaned up. Like, that's the other question is, what does this look like moving forward? What does Summer House look like moving forward? Are West and Amanda going to be in the master bedroom next year? Is that what we're going to be dealing with? Because I don't want to deal with that shit.
I don't know if you're hitting your desk or something, but there's something reverberating. It's not a big deal. It's like, just if it does the whole episode, it might be noticeable. But
no,
anyway, I mean, that's the crazy thing when you start to break down the timeline. And we went ahead and compiled actual evidence with dates and everything and where everything was said, who said what. And if we go back, the public split obviously was in January between Kyle and Amanda. We all knew that. That's not crazy. We were expecting it, whatever. As Shooter said, we get towards like February 3rd is when she says that she's swearing off of Summer House men for good. The big thing, the big smoke screen that was attempted to be thrown out there was March 3rd. That was when she went out and said publicly that Sierra's one of the kindest, most loving, loyal friends, and West was the most supportive in authentic and non-performative ways, saying he's such a good guy. That's who West is. So that was her, I'm assuming, trying to get ahead of this thing or trying to quell some rumors here. But that is when 2 days later, March 5th, is the Dumois rumor. That's when a shit really hits the fan. And sorry if I say this wrong. It's Marie Claire. You guys know who I'm talking about. Yeah. But anyway, that was when the first report came out on everything. And US Weekly, Us Weekly, they did a hit piece, Banana. Us Weekly came out addressing the rumors, saying that we've talked to everybody. These aren't true. That was on the 10th, I think. So
Yeah.
all of this shit is building up. Meanwhile, if you're a Bravo fan, you already know, and I'll get back to my dates, time proof, timeline, screenshots, everything in a second. But you guys know, I think it's probably late February. Things started to heat up. That's when Dev really started talking about it. And she'd been on it for a while, like I said. But things start to ramp up. The big thing that we all know at home, once it hits Reddit and once it starts to gain traction, there is always going to be a big reveal. Like there's a certain type of Bravo rumor. Like we've done this so many times, and not to this degree, obviously, but you kind of can feel when something's real, and not by intuition, but you see the evidence come out, you're like, all right, whatever. And then things start to trickle out. The big telling point is the cast. Because they're shady and they'll start doing little hints here and there. There'll be little posts where you're like, what did that mean? And the fact that we go further down the road in March, and this is something that I wouldn't have picked up on. Of course, Dev did, and so many other people did. Amanda and Sierra were supposed to do an Amazon Live together.
Yeah,
and
I
they
saw
did
this
not.
last week. Yeah,
Sierra did it with Lindsay, I think, instead. Is that right?
They just did. They ended up doing it solo. So that was the whole
Okay.
thing that really broke everything apart. Was all the rumors just started to culminate a little bit, and then there was a report that Sierra and Amanda were supposed to do something for Amazon Live, and then at the last minute they split and they did something separately instead. So that was a big tell in the middle of all of this. And then people started to really look into it, like, okay, is Sierra liking Amanda's post? No. Is Amanda liking Sierra's post? No. So there was enough there. And again, I don't think it was really confirmed until today. So I do think that the rest of the cast really found out all the evidence today with the rest of us, which is fucked up. I mean, they're all very close to the situation, especially Sierra. But the whole thing really came to a head at that point. And that's when people started posting. That's when you started getting, not only was Dumois posting, but you had everybody on TikTok. I mean, I was on TikTok for the last 4 or 5 days. People were throwing things at the wall. And the big thing that stood out to me was it's all evidence based on different cities, which is a big thing. They're not in New York necessarily doing this. Yes, behind closed doors and in their apartments they are. I'll get to that in a second. But there's people posting, and there's Peacock executives that are talking to their friends saying, yeah, I was at an event out in LA. Amanda and Wes were all over each other. Oh, I was at a bar down in Miami. Amanda and Wes were all over each other. They're doing things in different cities, so they're trying to be even more sneaky. So that's a huge issue. Now, when all of that evidence is coming out, when all of that quote unquote evidence is coming out, there's still reasonable doubt. Like, okay, do we really know what's going on? We don't want to jump into this. And you and I always say that, like, do we really want to jump into this? Because if we're wrong, which unfortunately Danny Pellegrino was horribly wrong, where he's like, I don't believe any of it. They would never do that to Sierra. They would never do that to their castmates. They would never do that in front of us. That would just never happen. I just don't believe it. Unfortunately, people like that end up being incredibly wrong. So you do have to kind of take a stance. But that, all of that shit coming out, and then finally getting another Dumois break where somebody took a picture of the two of them in Amanda or Wes's apartment through their window. First off, that person needs to go to jail. Send that person to jail. That's not okay. Send that person straight to jail. But it does add more fuel to the fire. Like, okay, this is really coming apart at the seams. And then that's when the Summer House cast starts posting their little reaction pics. Carl put one up. Lindsay put one up. Mia put one up. KJ put one up. Everybody. KJ put another thing up today. He put up a song where it was like, don't go stabbing me in the back or something. And it's just like, it's crazy. I mean, it just shows you where the cast is. Like, the cast is not divided on this. The cast is taking a step back, looking at the two of them like, what the fuck are you doing? How could you do this? So they're all finding out in real time too, which is a very interesting nuance to all of this, because there's not a lot of seeds out there, and people are obviously going to start taking their shots as all of this gets confirmed. And it's a complete clusterfuck. Like, how they thought that they would ever be able to get away with this is wild to me. And then obviously they started getting a little bit more audacious, and they started making some risks and going out to bars together. And they had the smokescreen of Aiden Blake that I mentioned before. It's just so stupid. I mean, obviously, yeah, you can look at all the wrong things, but then when you get into all of the actions that they were doing, it's really fucking stupid. How did you think you were ever going to get away with this?
Exactly. And, they went as far to, they were spotted at a restaurant in Queens, thinking if we get out of Manhattan, maybe
get out of Manhattan,
recognize us. Like, everyone knows who you guys are. Like, that's the point of reality TV. And the point of creating a brand for yourself is that you're recognizable so you can make money off of it. So going to Queens, you're still in New York City. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I guess it seems to me that there's this like level of arrogance in situations like this. You saw it with Raquel and Sandoval, where I'm assuming they get away with it for a certain amount of time
Yeah.
and they start to get a little reckless and they start to get a little false confidence going. Hey, and I think they convince each other, like, I mean, well, I love you and you love me. Our love is too strong to not be able to go. And it builds into this thing where they start taking risks. And as soon as they
Yeah.
start taking risks, the house of cards starts to fall and you start involving the rest of the cast. That's where it's going to gain some traction and gain some speed. They have Kyle talking to People Magazine, March 10th, and they asked him about the rumor. And as Shooter said already, he peppered both West and Amanda with questions. Is this real? Tell me about it. He on Watch What Happens Live said, look, I don't think this is true, but if it is West, if that's who Amanda picks, I want her to be happy. He said that on Watch What Happens Live. I don't think he thought there was any merit to it at the time. I think he might retract that statement now, but that's irrelevant because you start to put these puzzle pieces together. And the biggest question that arises, when did this start? And that's what we're all thinking about now. Now we're going to go back last year, 2 years ago, and try to pick up on little things. That's where we're going to get messy, and people are going to start finding things that aren't things, and we're going to have to sift through all the bullshit.
Yeah.
Buckle up, everyone. It's coming. But we have to know what that start date was. And it may seem trivial at this point because it's like the damage is done. The damage isn't done.
No.
The damage has just begun. If this goes back into Kyle and Amanda's marriage, if this goes back to when West was still pining over Sierra or that whole thing, if this goes back, God fucking forbid, this goes back 3 years ago.
Well, we're gonna get clips. We're gonna get clips that are just gonna like try to push you in that direction. I don't know. I mean, the door is wide open at this point.
I know.
So I usually I'm the one that's a little bit pessimistic. Like, no, you're grasping at straws with that. Who the fuck knows? I mean, something with this kind of scale. I don't care. Go back as far as you want to. Go back to West coming on the show. I mean, he was friends with them before he even got on the show. I mean, who knows what the fuck's going on there? And then you throw in all of the other funny nuances, like watching Ben this season. And we're talking about, was Ben hooking up with Amanda? And was he trying to get after Amanda at some point? Did they hook up? We don't know. I mean, how much more are there bodies buried somewhere in New York where Amanda was actually cheating on Kyle towards the end of their marriage? We have the right to ask those questions. Everybody has the right to ask those questions. So it's just very interesting the way that the whole fucking story breaks, because not only is it just everything that happened, not only is it just West and Amanda, then you bring in the Sierra situation, then you bring in the rest of the cast, then you're going to bring in all these other questions, like, was she actually cheating on Kyle during the end of their marriage? Like, that is where you're going to go. And unfortunately, you don't really have a leg to stand on. You can't get mad at people for asking those questions. You can't get mad at people for going back and watching Summer House from 2-3 seasons ago to see if there's any evidence there, going back on socials to see if there's evidence there. Like, that's what people are going to do when you have some sort of scandal like this.
I agree. And there's so many pieces that make it worse as we go through everything, because there's an epidemic in this country right now where if you just keep saying lies over and over again, people lose interest and they're like, well, I mean, whatever. And then you don't count the amount of times that they lied and you're like, it's just one big lie. That's horseshit. Because each time that they did this is its own individual offense, such as West going on Watch What Happens Live a week ago, 7 days ago. Okay. And he says to Andy Cohen, no, that's just a friend. That's my homegirl, is what he says. So he lied a week ago about this on TV. So I guess where it gets confusing for me in all of these situations, when you get something like this happen, what's endgame? What did you guys think was going to happen? And also in doing these appearances and going on Watch What Happens Live, that speaks to hubris more than anything. Cancel that appearance if you really give a shit about this relationship. I don't know why until you guys figure out what's going on. Like, or when you decide to make this massive mistake, have a powwow. Hey, let's sit down and
what
chat.
do we do?
How does this go?
What do we do when this inevitably breaks? Because it's going to fucking break. Like, that's the other part of it too, is the timing. Like, we have been sitting on this for a long time. People have been coming up with rumors for a while. Yeah, you can just kind of negate them for a little while. But this past week, it was hot and heavy. This is your best plan, is coming out with this weird ass joint statement that was probably written by AI. That you
It
guys
was
couldn't even
definitely
put your heart and
ChatGPT.
soul into this one. You couldn't have separate statements. You couldn't say, like, it's very different for each person. And you guys have the exact same statement. So that's the other thing that, like, and we've seen West under fire before. The reunion's going to be an absolute shit show. He's not going to be able to answer. He's going to stammer the whole time. He's going to be sweating. That's going to be tough. Amanda, who the fuck knows exactly what she's going to do. And I touched on it later, but again, doesn't excuse anything that Kyle did during the marriage. But how the fuck does Kyle Cook come out as the winner? That's unbelievable.
That's the
to me.
funniest part of this whole thing.
It's got to be the funniest. Like, it is objectively incredibly funny that Kyle Cook gets to sit there. And yeah, of course he's going to be upset at the reunion because it is a fucked up situation for him. It's more fucked up for Sierra than it is for Kyle, which, you know, you can't debate me on that one. But Kyle's going to sit there at the reunion, and at the end of it, he's like, I won. I get to go move down to Charleston, join Southern Charm. Actually, no, he doesn't. This is still his goddamn show. That's
He
the
just
other
kicked
thing.
them out.
We're moving. We were changing the guard. We were moving into a different era of Summer House. He's going to be in the city. We've got Amanda over there. Yeah, she's not going to hang around too long. We don't really know what Sierra's going to do, but now she has Mia, and if Mia stays on, then she's got her friend. She's good. She can move into the house and move forward with the rest of the crew. Instead, this whole thing breaks. We don't know what Summer House looks like. Time to call Kyle Cook and bring him back. Like, that might be what we have to do at this point to just try to salvage anything, because that's the other part of it. And I know, you know, going back to VPR and the best, honestly, the best, I guess, comparison that I would come up with is more on the level of like Jackson Kristen with Tom, watching Drive and giving head. That's closer to it because there's no marriage, there's no house involved, there's all that shit. But going back to VPR, people are like, well, just be careful what you wish for. You guys really wanted this to happen. VPR fell apart. VPR was falling apart before Scandal.
Yeah, that
Scandal
was just
saved it for a season and a half, and then
Correct.
it plummeted again because it was going to plummet regardless. But Summer House has nothing. Like, we've been waiting. The last 3 years have been tough. We finally got to a point where we have a good crew, and then you're going to throw this unbelievably strong wrench into the mix. It might die. Like, you might have to fully recast after this.
You really might. Like, that's the crazy thing. You know, I think what you did do for In the City, I think you actually helped In the City. Now
The
we're
ratings for that are
discussing
going
a
to
little
be
bit more
insane because people are going to be looking for Easter eggs.
Exactly. So I think that actually helped. But the fact that we are done filming this season of Summer House, they're not picking up cameras. I assume they want to get reactions in real time at the reunion. So that's why we're not picking up cameras, would be my best guess. But
honestly, they should pick up cameras for In the City if they're going to go that route. Like, there's no point in doing it for Summer House because you still haven't filmed the reunion. This is obviously going to be a 3, maybe even 4. This might be the first 4-part reunion that they have. They might throw all of things out there. That's fine. I'm not even going to argue about that one. But if you pick up cameras for In the City, I mean, Amanda's on that show. Lindsay's on that show. Kyle's on that show. Throw West into the mix. That would be somewhat interesting if you have to get all parties to agree to it. I don't think they have any say in the matter. That would make way more sense to me, because if you finish In the City, re-edit that thing to see what Amanda's looking like halfway through that season, and then throw the new footage in at the end and just promise that the whole time, people are going to watch.
Exactly. You know, so it will bump the In the City ratings. I don't know where we go from here as far as Summer House, like you just broke down. I don't see, because there's a lot of people saying the obvious, where it's like, well, West and Amanda are out, and the rest go back to the house, and you know, we move on.
What, live their life? Yeah.
That's my point. It's like, yeah, to a certain extent, I get it. Like, that is the makings of a show, sure, but what does that look like? What does this show look like? And you know, I'll just say it flat out. Like, West did do a good job of changing the dynamic in the Summer House that we've gotten used to. Over the past 3-4 years, we're used to them hanging out at home. Half the crew goes out. We don't get to see them go out. Not a whole lot happens. House party, whatever, boring. Over the past 2 years, we got younger dudes in the house. We've got some younger women in the house. They've started to get a nightlife again. You've got Bailey, who's doing a great job in her first season. You got Mia, who's killing it. KJ's doing a great job. You got Levi, who we're still crossing fingers can do something to stick around. But you have turned this back into a fun house. And West, whether you guys want to admit it or not, was a huge part of that. So now we're removing that. right? You're removing Amanda, who, she doesn't do a ton, but she is a centerpiece of the show.
Oh, she's been
But
going out a lot more. She's
that's the
just going out
funniest
so she can
thing.
hang
I
out with
know.
Wes.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what's so funny, because you want to break this whole thing down, Kyle versus West, like Venn
Yeah.
diagram. Those
Dude,
fuckers check the same boxes.
Go back to the conversation where Kyle's just dumping on the rest of the guys in the house and West is sticking up for Amanda, where he's
Yeah.
talking about how she just gets high and she doesn't do anything and she doesn't clean the house and they don't have sex anymore. West made a comment. And he's like, wait, you guys don't have sex anymore?
And they
Are they boinking at this point? Who the hell knows what's
Yes.
going on? Like, there's so
I
much to read into. And the big problem for me, of course, with moving forward with Summer House, even for this season, everything else just doesn't matter. I'm sorry, but like this is before the Tuesday night episode airs, but we're looking forward to seeing the fallout about KJ and Dara and how long did Dara stay in the room with Ben, and Bailey gets into the mix and Levi gets into the mix and there's a whole squabble. That's what's going on right now. And we've also got Kyle and Amanda, the fallout from that with Kyle's birthday. What's going to happen there? None of it matters. Literally none of it matters. So the whole rest of the season's a wash. Of course, they're going to go back into the lab and just try to edit and get as much out there about West and Amanda as they possibly can. It's not really going to matter, though. Like, we're just going to be sitting and waiting until that reunion, because all of this is in the past and we're living in the current with the whole scandal. So it's just going to be really tough to get through. And every time I'm looking from our perspective, too. What are we supposed to do? Are we supposed to recap this show as if this didn't happen? No. Like, how are we supposed to move forward? Has anybody ever thought about us? That's my one question. You get into a weird scandal like this and you screw over your friends and you're an absolute asshole. What about us? What are we supposed to do?
This is what happened at Scandival.
I know.
And then we had to recap, like, that at least happened during the season, but we did have, like, I think there's 3 or 4 episodes before it happened, or maybe more than that.
And then we got one episode of picking up cameras. And it's like, okay, I guess, this is now current, but
we went through the whole season. Like, what are we supposed to talk about? We know what's happening. Like, when does my big question, honestly, as far as the remainder of the season goes, is now knowing this. And I know, despite popular belief, I'm sure they do it here and there, but Bravo really doesn't go back and edit as much as you guys probably think they do. Once they have it in the can, it tends to be the final cut, from what we've been told. But I am curious, like, are they going to, in some of these later episodes, if they have enough time in between, be like, okay, time out, can we go back and find some moments? I think we're going to see more than we would have if this hadn't dropped when it did. So obviously, I mean, the focal point watching these next few episodes is going to just be looking for clues. Like, I don't care if Dara and KJ, they're still together. So I don't care what happened in that room. That Ben's irrelevant to me now. Yeah. So I don't care. Like, they're fine. Whatever happened in that room happened.
The Ben piece is going to be interesting, because we are going to read more into Ben. Was he in love with Amanda? Was he trying to hook up with Amanda? Was there flirting there? That's going to be important.
A different direction, right? It's not
it is a different. No, I know. Yeah, I'm sorry, but like, and look, honestly, that's good, because we actually would be sitting here, and I love KJ, and it seems like he loves Dara, and we don't know enough about her. But now we're not going to be scrutinizing them. We're not going to be looking at it like, oh yeah, like last week we were sitting here like, Bravo, show the fucking footage and give me the timestamps. Show that Dara wasn't in there for a full hour. Show that she didn't get changed in front of Ben. Please, for the love of God, just show us already. I don't care if you show it or not. It doesn't matter. We're moving on. We've got bigger fish to fry.
We got the biggest fish to fry. We've got the white whale, if you will. We got Captain Ahab just speared that fucker, and now we got to talk about it. Like,
are we Captain Ahab? Because doesn't he die?
Yeah, he doesn't make it. He doesn't make it. So do with that what you will. Do with that. But that's indicative. Wait a minute. Captain Ahab is Summerhouse.
Yeah. It's a possibility. Like you said, the rest of the season's just, who the fuck knows what's going to happen. And obviously, we're probably, unless more incredible news breaks where we actually get a timeline, this will be our little bottle episode where we talk about all of this. The rest of our West and Amanda chatter, we'll probably try to keep it in.
When we see, like on Summerhouse, it's going to be hard to deviate from this topic, and so it is what it is.
We'll save time to talk about the current events of West and Amanda.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll, if we see things, we'll try not to hone in on it too much if it's just a whatever scene and we're like, oh. But if we do see something, we're like, oh, that's sketchy. Obviously, we're going to discuss it, but we will try to keep it to our summer house recaps at the very least to try to contain this thing. I am not confident, but
We
hey,
have to record tomorrow for Summer House anyways. So.
Oh God, I know. We have to watch it
Well, that's
live
good
tonight
though.
now.
But you know what? That's good. I don't know. I still don't know.
I agree. I want to get to it.
live.
You know, I don't want to wait. I don't want to sit and wait and then we have to
Yeah.
talk. I want to get right into the business. But let's do one thing here before we move on. Not that we're anywhere in particular, but let's read the statement. Let's read it out. Okay. So this is what they decided was a good idea to post. Again, I think the funniest thing beyond everything else is she had a joint statement with her husband in January. That was 3 months ago. And now she's had to make another public announcement with another man who dated her best friend. What?
Yeah.
What?
I just read something really funny. I'm just gonna put it out there real quick. Somebody said that Sierra unfollowed West and Amanda. We've now figured out that she blocked them. But somebody quote tweeted it and said it kind of makes sense how lazy Amanda is that she didn't even go outside to find a man.
Damn.
God,
Damn.
it's all warranted. It's great.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, pull no punches here because they did this to themselves, and that it is what it is. All right. So just so everyone's up to speed, I'm sure you've all read this, but just in case, let's break this down. From Amanda Petula and West Wilson. We've seen the growing online speculation, so while this is still very new, we wanted to provide some clarity. It was never our intention to purposely hide anything. Given the complicated relationship dynamics involved and the scrutiny that comes with being on a reality show, we needed a little space to process things privately before speaking on it. We've shown up for each other as friends over the years. Through all the highs and lows, and what's developed recently was the last thing either of us expected. Our connection grew out of a genuine, long-standing friendship, which made it especially important for us to approach this with care. As fuck out of here. As our feelings evolved, we wanted to take time to understand exactly what we were feeling. We also recognize that this has had an impact beyond just us and never wanted our actions to cause any hurt or be perceived as careless. We truly appreciate the understanding and respect as we navigate this. So, real quick, what did you approach with care? This reads like, hey guys, we're in love, you know? So I know you're mad, but like, we're in love. You didn't apologize to anybody. You didn't apologize to Sierra, to Kyle. You didn't apologize to one fucking person. Instead, you're kind of on the defense in this. That's how I read this. I read this as defensive, saying, get off our back. We love each other. No.
Let's play a game of who do you think's going to be on whose team at the reunion?
Okay.
Who's going to back? Let's just say who's going to back Amanda and West. Because I think Jesse.
Jesse posted today. Jesse made a reaction post today. Same thing with the guffaw.
I still think he's going to be on their team. Weirdly.
I think he's going to be neutral. I don't think he's dumb enough to hitch his wagon to this one.
I definitely do.
That's the only one I could
be like a wild card in there. Like, do we?
Ben could honestly take the middle
Ben's
of the road.
A good one. Yeah,
and be.
Yeah,
because he could say like, well, you know, I saw how unhappy she was for so long, so it kind of makes sense. Like West gave her something that Kyle didn't. I could see that approach from Benjamin. That wouldn't shock me.
Yeah, God, I don't know why, but I just can't imagine the entire cast going against them. I think they're going to have one or two people defending them. And it's going to be weirdly, in a weird way, I could see Kyle stepping in and defending Amanda because he doesn't know any better. And he's going to do what he did on Watch What Happens Live, which I don't believe that he's like, yeah, I want Amanda to be happy and everything with West, even if it's with West. I do think he's going to like, all right, like, you know what? It's okay. It's not that big of a deal just to try to make himself into a better person. I really don't know what that reunion is going to look like. It's going to be an absolute nightmare. But very interesting to watch for us, of course.
It's going to be a total train wreck. As far as your question, I'm taking the under. I don't think anybody's going to come to their defense. I think there might be some people that omit themselves from the conversation. But given how recent it was and how raw it's going to be, they're filming in 2 weeks. So barring some drastic revelation coming out that like something that ever so slightly exonerates them in any way, shape, or form, which does not exist. That's not out there waiting in the ether to like be like,
No.
oh, now it makes sense. So I don't see the only person that'd be dumb enough would be Jesse. You're right. I just don't think he's that dumb, or we'll find out very soon. And then Ben, yeah, those are the only two question marks for me. The ladies are obviously going to be on a Sierra side, and rightfully so. But we'll probably get to questions here soon because I'm sure there's a lot of stuff in there that we need to answer, or at least try to answer. But I think my big question, well, one first and foremost, and I actually kind of hope he does this, and I am not like Team Kyle now. This doesn't exonerate all of the stuff that he did over the years. I think it's crazy that in that marriage where he was such a shitty husband for so long, she's worse is kind of crazy. But my one thing that I really hope he does, it would be really funny and potentially save his business, is come out with a flavor of Loverboy to embody this moment. Like something like an X score.
Loverboy put something out, and they put like a text message out saying, and they redacted a name of something, and they said they were going to put merch out. Now, that's the other piece that we didn't really talk about was Kyle going down to Charleston last week, and Jesse's promoting his single and doing all that bullshit. But Kyle was hanging out with all of them, and then Austin put up an Instagram saying, "Oh, I guess fucking your friend's exes is back in." So people have known for the last couple of days. So it's not, I said this earlier that everybody kind of found out at the same time. They probably found out the details and everything else at the same time. And that's kind of what we've been getting in the last couple of days. But I just don't know where to go from here necessarily. I saw something that kind of like sparked my interest. I was reading our questions really quick, and we have no less than 500 questions in here.
Yeah, so I kind of figured.
This is going to take a while to pick through them, but I love the amount of people that still think it's a hoax. That's one of my favorite things.
The April Fool's joke people, like, it's not April, guys. And then they're like, well, it's April in Europe. It's like, stop.
Enough. No, just let it go, guys. It's incredible. But yeah, somebody actually asked, do you think there's any merit to the Buffalo Wild Wings promo rumor? No, there's not. Did
you see what they did?
What's that?
They posted ABWW on their page and got so much shit that they took it down. Let me try to find it.
Unbelievable that they would.
Yeah, I saw it earlier. Let me try to find it. It could have easily been photoshopped. Hold on, Buffalo Wild Wings, Amanda West.
I'm sure they probably put it down.
Here, no. Here you go. It was in the comments. Move your talking head, lady. Hold on. She's talking over the... Come on, dude. You can see it behind her head. Maybe if I Google it. Fuck.
It's okay.
Well, I did find it, but her head's in the way. If you see right here, all right, behind her, they commented in response to somebody, AA or ABWW. Like, yeah, we stand this because they did a joint promo together.
Yeah.
For Buffalo Wild Wings, which is
Hannah Burner's also on there too. Why not an HB?
Hannah Burner could not be happier right now. She is elated. Everything turned out to come up Hannah Burner, and her and Paige are about to do. Oh, that's something I want to talk about real quick. Then we get some questions. Her and Paige are doing a scripted show, I believe. So she's getting a TV show,
on Netflix. Yep.
And she gets validated more than anybody, I think, has been in a very long time. So that's kind of crazy. But that's my question, the Paige aspect.
Well,
I'm so curious about Paige.
Because my girlfriend was talking about this before we started recording. So Paige and Hannah have never had a guest on their podcast, and she's calling her shot. She's saying first guest ever on their podcast would be Sierra to talk about all of this in a safe space and put it all out there. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. We've seen comments here and there. Paige has been making comments. Hannah put up a video earlier that was a little vague, a little cryptic, but she kind of shows where she is. Paige put a comment in there saying, "Yep, I guess we know where Hannah is on all of this." That's funny. So I don't know. I mean, I assume in some way, shape, or form, the two of them are gonna weigh in on this, whether it's alone or they have Sierra on their podcast. Who knows exactly what they're gonna do? But it's gonna be interesting to see everybody now that the news is out, that we're gonna have to see everybody on their socials not posting reaction shots, but rather putting out their feelings, saying exactly how they feel about what's going on. That's going to be a very interesting thing.
Yeah, and if we know anything about Paige, she is loyal as they come. She's a staunch
Mm-hmm.
defender of her friends, and I have no question in my mind that she's Team Sierra on this.
Oh, yeah.
It's just going to be very interesting to get her take because she's obviously so close with Amanda as well and has been for so long. That episode of Giggly Squad is, I'm going to listen to that one. That's going to be very interesting to get her perspective. Is she going to open up and go back in the vault a little bit? Be like, well, you know, there was a couple times where XYZ happened where maybe not trust her. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like this hole is going to continue to
just
dig.
Paige is going to look at Amanda like the friend killer. Like, oh, okay. So like you kind of pulled me away from Hannah a little bit, and then I had to, you know, that. And obviously you can go back even further to everything else that Amanda may have been doing and kind of getting in Paige's ear. So that'll be interesting to see what she says. But the first two questions I want to address, because they're kind of paired together. Frimpy30 and Marissa and Palma, they asked, do you think Sierra should even show at the reunion? And then Marissa asked, do you think Amanda will bail on the reunion? They'll both be there. They will both 100% be there. I think Sierra, you don't think Amanda's going to be there?
I think if anyone doesn't show, it's going to, Sierra will be there. I know that for damn
She's
sure.
going to get support. So, I mean, it's going to be,
she's not a coward, dude. She would stand. I know even if she was afraid to not have support, she would show up for sure. So I'm not worried about that. If anyone's a no-show on this, it's going to be Amanda. I don't think she's going to do it. I think she'll show up. But if anybody was to not show, it would be Amanda, in my opinion.
Just fangirl at all times asked, also, do you think that West will actually commit to a relationship now? No, probably not. I actually think that what's going to happen is this is going to fizzle out very quickly. I think that neither of them are going to be able to take the backlash, and they're not going to be able to stay together.
I'm curious how this affects everything. You know, like West just got this great job at Complex. He's killing it over there. Like, how does this affect that? Like,
how does this affect Sheena? Has anybody asked Sheena? Is she okay?
Oh God, we do need to. I can't believe she hasn't weighed in a very weird and overarching way where she's like, I knew I was involved. Like he cheated on me too. What?
Mm-hmm.
What are you talking about? Yeah, just it's only a matter. She's gonna write a book about it.
From Zero, do you think they have to get married now so that the public doesn't end their careers? Maybe. God.
Yeah, I mean that's what we're saying. Like I don't. How do they not think of that shit before this happens? Where it's like, hey guys, you realize you potentially could burn your career to the ground. The fact that Sandoval figured out a way to worm his way back into the good graces of the public image is crazy. There's no way, because West isn't as delusional as Tom Sandoval. That's what got Tom back up to where he's at currently. To that Traitors appearance, he was fucking funny. Can't deny it. House of Villains, he's doing a great job on that. He worked his way back. West doesn't have that in him. And I know that. And speaking of like this, Katie Melody, why are people calling this Scandival? This is nowhere near as bad. It's different, but it is as bad. That's the thing that she like. Yes, it is. There's so many
you
layers
remove
to
all
this
the
whole
cheating
thing.
and everything else from it.
Yeah, there's just a lot of layers here. Like Shooter said, it's kind of like if Scandival was based around the Doty thing, Doty Jackson and Sandoval. If it was based around that, but went the way that Scandival went, that would be an easier way to frame it. But yes, this is as bad. It absolutely is.
A lot of this we already covered, of course, which was expected.
Wait.
Yeah, I want to read the funny comments.
Rebecca Serpa, do you think Sierra and Amanda could ever come back from this? Fuck no.
No.
She wouldn't give West a chance for 3 years. It took until this season to be nice to him. You think she's ever going to talk to Amanda again? Absolutely not. Yeah. She has morals. Like Sierra has strong principles and values. She's made that very clear through the years. So fuck no, she's not going to talk to her.
No. Jacqueline Michelle Kress. Jesse, were you silent or silenced? That's a theory that you can float around for days if you want to.
That's the Schwartz theory.
Was the Schwartz theory, sort of in a way, again, different, but was he going after Sierra to kind of take the heat off of everything going on? Was it just a smoke screen? There's so many things to read into there. I don't think so. I think Jesse was just going for Sierra. But West and Jesse are not nearly as close. I mean, that's another thing he said on Watch What Happens Live. Andy kind of picked up on it, and he asked him, like, how close are you and Jesse? And he's like, he's a friend. He's a friend. He basically said the same thing about Amanda. Obviously, he said he was showing her the streets, but he did stammer for a little bit. So him and Jesse are not that close. I doubt that if this was secretly going on behind closed doors even before, that Jesse would even know.
Yeah, I compare it to the Schwartz, or call it the Schwartz theory, only because did he know? Not the him trying to hook up with Sierra. It does bring up a lot of moments, though, when you think about not just them, but you think about that night when they were playing Spin the Bottle and Kyle and Amanda smooched, and then West, that's when he decided to move his chair next to Sierra. And that's when he said to Jesse, I'll fuck you up or something.
Yeah.
I think we know where that came from now. And that was not Sierra centric, which is even more brutal because he used Sierra as a prop in that moment.
Yeah. No, if you want a Schwartz of the situation, it's his friend Aiden. That would be the Schwartz situation. Because everybody's like, oh yeah, Amanda and Aiden, they're hooking up. That makes total sense. They're holding hands. Nope. It's actually West
smoke
the
screen.
whole time. The whole
this
time.
Is interesting. Eliza Bell B, or is it Elizabeth? Sorry. I think it's Elizabeth B. And if I said that wrong, I apologize. Will West be an adult and take responsibility for his actions and words at the reunion? What kind of West are we going to see?
No, I mean, we've seen it before. I think this is somehow worse than what he did to Sierra. So we watched how that went. It's not going to go any better than that. I think he's going to be quiet the whole time, and he's going to not really take any sort of responsibility.
I don't know. I think it's going to be I just don't even know. Like he handled the first one
asked
so poorly that I can't imagine.
From Katora_AM, who do you think will be sat next to West and Amanda at the reunion? They should be at a sweetheart table. If they're in love, put them at the sweetheart.
Right in the middle.
Table. Yep.
Right in the middle.
Yep. Yeah, a lot of seating predictions for things like that, which is kind of funny. You can do that for days.
I just love that it leaves the door open for stuff like this. Cat Dog. Did he get Amanda's permission to comment "holy frick" on Sierra's pic?
That's a good one. Oh, I like that.
I agree with this. Like, this situation would be bad regardless, but from so many signs, 9152, why didn't they just come clean to Sierra and Kyle before the world?
Yeah. That's a
great point.
Great question.
I mean, there's no way that this goes well in any way, shape, or form, but that would have been the appropriate way to do it, to sit them down and be adults about this in some way, shape, or form and say, hey, this is going to sting, but we're together now and it's going to be public like that. But again, that shows you where West and Amanda are at. They don't care. They're being selfish. They're worried about their own careers right now. Probably they're worried about their own image. They're worried about everything that they're going to get back from this as far as backlash goes. They're not worried about Sierra. And that's very evident from that quote unquote joint statement. At no point in there was it even that apologetic. And that's where I'm starting to think, based on nothing else but what we've gotten so far, that they feel maybe they don't owe an explanation. Like this just happened. We're both single. Like they may very well take that route and completely disregard everyone's feelings. And that's based on the fact that they've taken nobody's feelings into consideration up until this point. So why would that suddenly click on at the reunion?
Dude, I don't know. Really don't. It's funny too, because a lot of people are just asking the same questions, mostly timeline, mostly, was West going after Sierra this summer, a whole smoke screen?
I think
he's
so.
Really into Amanda.
I think so. I think he was 100% show centric there, pushing a storyline and protecting him and
Wow.
Amanda. Yeah, and I do think that it's interesting now because yeah, maybe Jesse was fucking with West. Hey, can I make out with Sierra? You're fucking your like your friend's wife. Can
Could have
I
been.
make out with your girl? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Brian Scott Patterson, on a scale of I'm vomiting to I'm vomiting and having diarrhea, where are you on the West being a dirtbag scale?
Vomiting while having diarrhea. Probably. I'm
Yeah.
bent over on the toilet in a trash can. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? One of those days. We've all been there.
Yep.
Eat some gas station sushi, wash it down with a natty ice, and poof.
Yeah. Yeah.
You guys all been there, right?
Yeah. Everybody's been there.
Let's see. Let's
God, I'm
see.
trying to find a
Amanda,
good one to like end on, but it's all the
I'll
same
just keep
stuff.
reading some out while you search. Lash 16 says Amanda has never been a girl's girl. How long do we really think this has been going on? She hasn't been a girl's girl, and that's been a talking point here and there. It's never been more evident than now. This is a good one. Hi, my name is Sandy. Will this save Loverboy and Kyle's reputation? If they play this right, it could. If they do the
Yeah, they
merch
could have a
drop,
boom. Yeah, they
yeah,
could have an absolute boom on merch. I mean, everything that I heard, because last week we were going hard at Loverboy saying that it would have been fine if he was just good to his wife, but
this
apparently
kind of
that's not the case
alleviates
because
that.
you can't even really get Loverboy in a lot of states, and when you can get Loverboy, it sucks or it's really expensive. So it's not going to save the drink, but I mean, you could just pivot to merch. Why not take
Yeah, if you
advantage of it?
bump out, I mean, shit. Ariana and Katie made like 6 figures on merch when they dropped
Yeah,
after Scandival.
yep.
Katie Lowe, I think this started last summer. Do you guys? So that's my thing now. That just wormed its way into my brain. Okay,
Yeah.
bear with me here. Crazy theory. Let's take it back to the end of 2 years ago with Sierra. Do you think, is it possible that Amanda and West started at least something all the way back then that made West back off of Sierra? And that was the driving force of why he was not ready to commit.
And gun to my head, no, but anything's possible.
Yeah, dude. I don't know.
But again, like I said earlier, this it opens the door to those questions. You can't really deny those questions immediately.
Let's see. Let me see if I can find a great one.
Yeah, I got
to
nothing. So if you got one,
A lot of people asking about last summer. Ryan Stoneman, do you think Amanda had feelings for West last summer? Did Jesse know? Was Ben a decoy?
yeah, I just want one good one to end on. And I'm not blaming anybody because everybody's got the same questions.
Yeah, no, and it's all valid. All right, I can tie this one into this one, and then if I can find that one. Damn, you guys,
see, that's the problem.
there's no shortage of questions. There's
I know.
800 in here. All right, whatever. Somebody else. Sorry that I can't find your name. Madison MC says, and suddenly I've forgotten who Taylor Frankie Paul is, which leads to the other one that I can't find who asked it. I'm still searching, but they asked, should Sierra be the Bachelorette? To which I say, absolutely not. She deserves much better than the Bachelorette.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
you could give her the Ariana treatment where she's now hosting a big show, send her to Love Island.
No,
Have her team up with Ariana.
I don't. Oh yeah. Okay, I thought you meant like as a contestant.
Oh God,
like,
no,
absolutely
no,
not that pressure cooker.
No, you know how Paige made an appearance? Like have Sierra come over for like All Stars and host that or something.
Yeah.
Give her a start somewhere and then give her the roadmap to just take off and flip off both Amanda and West as she rides off into the sunset. That's what I want. I want the full Ariana Madix treatment. I want Sierra starring in a Broadway show, even though she doesn't sing and dance. I want the full treatment there. I want Loverboy to sell tons of merch. No, I'm not excusing Kyle's behavior by any means, but fuck it. Like West and Amanda set the tone here. West and Amanda are the villains. And that's going to be the funny thing, is to watch the cast inevitably capitalize off of this.
Yeah.
As we saw with Scandival. And they're all going to make a ton of money.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to watch, but like I said, we'll be back tomorrow with our summer house recap. We're probably going to find out more shit.
Yeah,
People
I
are
don't
gonna
even
be
know.
posting, and
We're supposed to talk about Ben and Dara tomorrow.
yeah,
What the
that's gonna
fuck?
be tough. That's gonna be like impossible. How are we supposed to move on from this? We're
I don't
not.
know. I don't
Scrap
know.
everything else. You know what?
Yeah,
I know Rhode Island's supposed to be coming out this week. The Valley's supposed to be coming out this week. Just push it, for the love
yeah.
of God.
Bump
Push it.
everything a week. Give us all a breather. Oh
Yeah.
boy. Yeah. Well, yeah. As you said, then we'll wrap this thing up. The crazy thing is going to be that so much more is probably going to come out.
Uh-huh.
So much more. Like I
We'll
remember
get
when
some
Scandival dropped.
semblance. We'll get
Yeah.
some semblance, because even like Scandival, I mean, even after quote unquote all of the timeline came out, we still had more questions. We were still
And
reading
there was
into
still
things,
more
so,
answers
and there's
like
still
waiting
more
to.
answers, but they
So
weren't.
yeah,
Yeah, so it's gonna be an interesting ride.
everyone hydrate. Okay. Make sure we're getting our
Mhm.
rest. All right. Take a break from the
Yep.
screen after like
Hug-
2 or 3 hours of scrolling.
Hug your loved ones.
Yeah. Hug a tree,
Yep.
just to feel like grounded outside. Don't forget that there's a world. It's getting nice out. All right. Don't let this
Mhm.
suck you in for too long. It's already
Yeah.
ruined multiple of my days, but hey, here we are. But
Oh,
yeah, that's all I got. You got anything else?
Nope.
Well, that's our show. I guess we'll try to talk about Summer House tomorrow. Bravo's
Yep.
got to go by. Jesus Christ.